The world that they offer you is gray and promises dystopian control. They offer you safety and security purchased with the currency of your freedoms. But on this channel, we say absolutely not. The warmth and freedom of individual liberty will pass on from us to the next generation, and it starts right now. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, and how we're going to fix this bad boy together. And unfortunately for the gun controllers, sometimes that includes calling them racist. Yeah, it's a problem. And in fact, I didn't do it. The judge in the Fourth Circuit opinion, where they basically ruled and said that 18, 19, and 20-year-olds can't have their rights because a court decided it. Yeah, we're going to walk through the entire thing right now, and we officially have a circuit split. I hear Supreme Court knocking. Everything will be linked in the description box below. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We are pushing that freedom forward on this channel. And if you want to be part of that solution and be part of those trenches that makes this happen, hit that subscribe button and join the movement that we are creating. We are just getting started. And thank you for that. Let's dive right in because I have got to show you what we're talking about here. So, of course, follow me on on X at Braden LOA, because that is where a lot of the conversations you and I are having, a lot of the information sharing is going back and forth at Braden LOA on X. All right, let's dive into this. This is the breaking news. We had something out of the Fourth Circuit today that said 18, 19, and 20-year-olds can be discriminated against because of their age for their gun rights. Now, what's interesting about that is they're not discriminated on their age for anything else. Awkward. But anyway, McCoy versus ATF, the Fourth Circuit upheld the ban on handguns sales to 18 and 20-year-olds. The court concluded similar history existed in militia laws. Judge Richardson dissented. So what's stopping them from increasing the age to 35, like being president? Circuit split. Now, this is an interesting part here. The circuit split, and I'm going to keep on going over to FPC. The Supreme Court doesn't like circuit splits. Please see bump stocks. We had two different opinions. Fifth Circuit said it's fine, and I believe it was the Sixth Circuit that said it wasn't. Circuit split. SCOTUS goes, okay, enough percolation has occurred. Now let's talk about it. Well, now you have a circuit split on 18, 19, and 20-year-old handgun bans. How do you think that's going to go? Yeah, let's keep going. Legal alert. The Fourth Circuit has ruled that the federal under 21 handgun ban is constitutional, drawing a long dissent from Judge Quattlebaum and creating a split with the Fifth Circuit. And I'm going to read a few of these in a second because this is the part where Everytown for gun safety basically just comes out as a little bit racist and a little bit sexist in order to achieve their ends. I know. I can hear you clutching your pearls now. They would never. Yeah, they did. Anyway, let's keep going. As everything on all the videos I do, that's all in the receipts in the description, including the actual document if you want to read it. But let me go over to Firearms Policy Coalition. They brought out some amazing highlights for us to discuss and disseminate here. And that's important for you to spread this out and share this because this is how you beat these people, calling their bull on the carpet. The Fourth Circuit has ruled that the federal under 21 handgun ban is constitutional, drawing a long dissent from Judge Quattlebaum and creating a split with the Fifth Circuit. Here's what I want to hit on right here because the dissent is spinning gold. Check this out. Judge Quattlebaum dissenting, quote, as judges, we interpret law rather than make policy. Under Supreme Court precedent, this federal handgun purchase ban violates the Second Amendment. Under common sense, it violates the Second Amendment. That's why the older generation, 35 plus, all the way up to 75, are leading this charge with supporting FPC and all these lawsuits so that those next generations that are coming behind us that are more conservative and more leaning into their freedoms than the previous generations, they're going to have a hell of a good start because of the work you guys are doing. Calling senators, supporting groups, being involved. Yeah. All right. Let me show you this real quick. This part right here. I have to bring this up. Judge Quattlebaum says the arguments Everytown made in its amicus brief, quote, would not only exclude from the Second Amendment those who couldn't vote because of age, it also would exclude those who couldn't vote based on property ownership, race, or gender. Uh-oh. Now, we've talked about this a lot. The gun controllers living deeply inside the Democratic Party have always done this. They've always said, well, we have actually gone back to find precedent, history, text, and tradition back to the 1600s when the government didn't allow Protestants or minorities to have guns. See, we did it. Look, Bruin is satisfied. We've covered it many times on this channel. However, let me read you the actual document from a court. The government hints that 18 to 20-year-olds are excluded from the people based on the term's meaning in 1791. Ooh, that time frame, 1791. Who else wasn't considered a part of the people? And amicus flat out makes that argument. See Everytown, amicus curiae, the Brown versus ATF case, blah, 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 blah. The argument relies on the fact that during the late 18th century, 18 to 20-year-olds were minors who could not vote. Since they could not vote, amicus reasons, they are not part of the people. Are you seeing the problem? And thus are not protected by the Second Amendment. But that cannot be right. The logic behind that view ties the people to those who were part of the national or political community in the 1770s. But applying that logic consistently would not only exclude those who couldn't vote because of age, it also would exclude those who couldn't vote based on property ownership, race, or gender. Uh-oh. This is the part where you have gun controllers caught between a rock and a hard place, or a Bruin in a hard place if you really want to be funny about it. These guys have to say that it's perfectly consistent for them not to be able to have guns because they couldn't vote back then. Really? They weren't part of the people? Really? Who else wasn't part of the people? Let them cook. Answer that question. Go ahead. Answer that question, Everytown. Yeah, I will open up my X feed. I will put it all down there. Make sure you articulate why the 18-year-olds aren't part of the people and everyone else at that time frame wasn't either. Awkward moments. Brought to you by the local gun controllers. Let's continue. Describing founding era voting limitations based on property ownership and long-standing voting restrictions based on race and gender. The people in the late 18th century consisted solely of white landed men. Awesome. Great job, everybody. You're brought to you by your local Everytown safety gun controllers. They have no problem arguing the fact that these 18, 19, and 20-year-olds can't vote because in 1791 they couldn't vote then and they weren't part of the people, even though there's a whole lot of people in the United States right now that would fall under demographics that also would not be able to vote. But that's perfectly fine because they weren't part of the people. Now, 3 minutes from now, it's going to be this institution is either racist or sexist or homophobic or whatever you want to call it. But that's a different situation, guys. It's completely not the... Yeah, it is. It's the exact same. They're leaning on racial, sexual, and other levels of discrimination for their gun control. That's the bottom line. And now we have a quite literal split in the circuits heading right up to SCOTUS with this being on the docket. Let's freaking go. Make sure you send this one out. Everything will be linked in the description box below. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and I will see you guys on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.